Welcome back to another amazing episode of The Careful Boys. We've got Ryan and Joe. We got Bart and Nick. We got Steve and me. And I just took Ryan's intro. All right.
That's my intro?
That's your intro. You say everybody's names. Very, very empathetic and amazing of you.
Dude, my new intro's fire, by the way. Wait for all students.
It's way better than this one.
Say it right now.
Just wait for
Just
it.
practice
Just
the
wait
preview.
for it.
Preview
Just wait
right
for
now.
it. All right. Welcome back to Careful Boys, where we currently fear everyone.
Oh, that's good too.
We'll never measure up, man.
I like the variation.
For the rest of our lives, fear everyone. Okay, so what is your, and I can't wait for your answer. What is your favorite thing about your ethnicity?
Oh, aside from being the master race?
Barbecues?
Oh, wait, I said that out loud. You also said it loud.
Out loud and loud.
What is it about being the master race that you like? Well, I'd like to first clarify that my idea of Japan is very much the same as any kid growing up in America. I'm a bit of a weeb, right? So like I make up my ideas of Japan. Okay. And my only window is from my relatives and what they've told me Japan is about.
Fair.
Which is feudal.
But isn't that's the only thing that actually matters is what you think it is, because that's how you live your life?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
What do you like about it? What are some benefits you've seen?
I think they're so gay.
That's the benefit?
No, I'm just kidding.
That's what you like?
I love how well they all rebranded after World War II to the point where people don't even remember the stain. Well, I bet some Koreans and Taiwanese and people do, but the most of the world, like when you think of Germany, right? I mean, they haven't done a great job after Hitler. People still remember Hitler.
Yeah, they didn't rebrand that well.
Big time.
Yeah.
To the point where like, yeah, it's kind of like, oh, they might do it again. I don't know, right? Where Japan is like, they're harmless. They fucking smell dirty underwear and they just like anime and they're all fucking weak.
You're right.
You know? So like,
Weak.
and people don't have that same mentality.
And you like that about your ethnicity? That they did a rebrand, a big rebrand?
Yeah, I like how people don't even know how fucking
How savage it was.
pre-World War II,
Yeah.
they were just a bunch of savage warlords killing each other off all day, and their war crimes is covered up by Pikachu.
Yeah. Pikachu is the best rebrand. And Sony.
That's a very real answer, dude.
Because I think it's just interesting how much they flipped it on its back.
Is everything that happened by design? So all this like shit we're
No,
saying?
I think people reacted opposite to what happened. Because they were lied to. So imagine like back then, so you know how like we see ISIS and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
So they were telling, so my uncle was actually a part of, like, you know how Hitler had the Hitler Youth? Mm-hmm. They had the same programming for the youth out there in Japan. And they were telling everybody that the emperor is, has like God powers. And if you commit suicide for the country, you'll come back and you'll be like, you'll go to heaven and all this stuff. So that's why the kamikazes and all that shit, the kids, they had 14-year-old kids, not only in planes, but in submarine missiles, just fucking died.
The missiles?
They were in a missile, bro. Like,
Why did it have to be in the missile?
It's so
It's the
unnecessary.
worst job you could get.
They didn't have autopilot yet.
they
Yeah.
did
shit.
it.
Where
Their
you
autopilot
are
was an actual human being.
They had steering wheels inside the missiles.
Yeah.
The kids are just like, Jesus.
It was
So-
fun right before the death.
Yeah.
Going fast.
Dude.
Because at the end of it, they're just like, well, we can only shoot so much. We might as well get these kids coming in and doing bombs and whatever, right? So then once they lost, everyone was like, wait, how can we lose? Like our God is the emperor and we were the master race. And how did we lose? That doesn't make any sense. And then so after that, they're like, well, fuck the government then. And then I think it was like, we should be super anti-war, and they're not very warring at all. So I think it went
So
opposite.
the image change was actually a result of like revolting against the current.
I think so. I think everybody was like, I don't want to fucking, that war is stupid, it's horrible, like I don't want to do that ever again.
Didn't like the U.S. take their military too? We're like, you guys aren't gonna have military.
Yeah.
So all the responsibilities on the U.S. Yeah. But I don't know. That was what was told to me. So then that was like probably my parents and my uncle and everybody in their generation that were like, yeah, war's bad. It's horrible. Look at what it did to our country. Look at what it did to whatever. And they're like,
but then look at what peace did to your birth rate.
Oh, zing!
So that's your favorite thing. Do you have any advice for Germany on how they can like work?
Yeah. Rebrand. You can just talk to me if you want.
anime?
I'm pretty German.
Anime.
Yeah, German anime. Dude.
Yeah, cute cartoons are.
Cute cartoons?
Yeah.
That's a huge one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
And scrumptious food.
Okay.
Yeah, Germany ain't really got that. You got like sauerkraut.
Pokemon Scheiße.
Actually, the sausages are really fucking good in Germany.
Sausages.
This is Pikachu.
The bratwursts are good.
Weinedal.
I've been to Germany. I had the bratwurst. It's very good.
Pork knuckle.
If I had to be 100% real, I would have to say, this is even pre-World War II, right? So the way that when people get into shit, they obsess about it and they make it like their whole life is about this thing and they try to perfect it. I think that's very telling of the way they approach work and lifestyle. Yeah.
Cool.
It's pretty...
I agree.
Yeah.
I love that too.
To the point where their reality seems skewed because it's almost like when you see LARPers in America or like the Civil War reenacting people, right? You can tell that they're doing that on the weekend. Whereas like if Japan got into that,
Never turns off.
that becomes reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I respect the most about Japanese, I think, is whatever they do,
They go hard.
they can even do it better than who invented it.
Yeah.
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 Right.
You're like, holy
You
shit.
hear everyone coming back from Japan, they're like, I had the best pizza of my life.
They perfect
Best
things.
everything.
Yeah, anything.
If they touch
Anything
it,
to
it's
eat.
better than where the source came from.
Oh, dude.
Technology.
That's a part of
all-
religion.
Yeah.
I got a facial from a lady,
They copy something?
It's the worst version of it.
but they made it quick, though. They made it so quick.
They're all about quantity, not quality.
You can get 20 of them.
But they're good at quantity.
Yes, very good.
That might be my favorite thing about China.
Let's hear from Steve Greene.
So what didn't we do? You're welcome for the lights in the room and all kinds of shit, right? Probably we made the camera, probably, and sound.
Sound.
Made sound.
Well, we made it, we like whatever that.
They invented sound.
Probably. Yeah, it's pretty sweet up here.
We got it all.
Is it do you like when you look at it, right? Like do you see it as like Europeans are on your team too? Or do you see it as like American? Because for me I think like fresh immigrant still in my head where I have that tie going to Japan, my mom still lives there. So then it's like I can still identify with it, right? Whereas like you don't have any family in Europe. No. So like
On the real, when I was in Germany, I was like, this place sucks. And it was very cold when I was there. I don't feel connection with like Germans, even though that's where like a
about,
lot
like,
of my
the Third
lineage
Reich?
is from and shit. I do feel strongly about them, but they weren't there.
Alright, just
They weren't
There,
there.
that's why it sucks.
the Third Reich is gone.
But no, I mean, I'm just an American, and I feel that way about basically everyone in this room as well. It's like we're all just Americans, and like it's like how much can we really say? Because if we went over there, they're all like, "You're not from here, fuck you."
Oh, fuck us. Yeah.
So there's a lot of that funny stuff going on, but
Plus you got a Japanese tattoo now, so
I do have a Japanese tattoo.
A wrong Japanese
You're a man of the
tattoo.
world now.
Yeah. So that's gonna be really fun too, by the way. When people gonna think I'm a fucking white poser doing like Japanese.
But that's your dream, bro.
I love it.
I think the best part is it's intentional.
That's what some people don't get. Like, that's your fucking thing, dude.
I know, like, yeah, I'm like inside of a sarcasm bubble right now. I can't wait. But no, there is no like white alliance, I feel.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, sure, you're perpetuating that.
Yeah, well, exactly. But I mean, real or funny, right? You want me to be real or funny? But right now, like, there is no like, I don't know, man. Like, what I really admire about what you guys have is like, you guys like have like a fucking brand ID almost, and you guys can like talk about things in a certain way. Like, there's like a underlying almost kinship with things. Whereas white people, we're just like, I don't know, where'd you come from and shit. Like, did we all watch Nickelodeon as a kid? Yes, but like, there's no like, oh yeah, like my family back in Germany, they're all like this. Like, we're all just so integrated.
Oh, yeah, like an extra string that ties everyone together.
Yeah, there's none of that. It's
I
like
was wondering if Europeans would have that because Hana kind of has that, but it's regional. It's like
From
being
a completely different place.
Yeah.
like Wales.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. Like Europe, whatever. Like where they're still connected, kind of.
Well, look at them yelling at soccer, right? Like
Yeah.
they're all like, my buddy's like from the UK, and he's like a die-hard fucking football fan, whatever. But they go territorial, like England versus Wales versus all this shit. I'm like, isn't that the same thing? He's like, no, dude. It's like,
What? Just sign.
oi, what? But I'm like, I don't.
You
know.
mad?
Whereas here, what do I have, right? It's like
You have the Colts.
I have the Colts, so then like I hate the Patriots. So it's kind of
Yeah, same thing, yeah.
football stuff is kind of like that, right? And then, but then the Patriots don't even recognize us. They're like, we're like the guy that they killed in every war, and so they don't even respect us. But it's kind of, there is no like, I don't know. I'm trying to think. It's like there's not like a, I don't know. What the stereotype is like. Like the Dave Chappelle sketch, like behind closed doors, we're all like have secret handshakes and shit. But like, there is none of that. Like a new white neighbor moves in, you're like, hey brother, let's go and shit. Whereas you guys, like, if you guys have an Asian move in, you guys get excited about it.
Yeah.
I can see that.
It's true.
Different thing.
Don't you like bring over casserole and shit?
Nah, dude, that's all just memes and like.
Stroganoff.
I guess in Virginia where I was growing up, like one of my neighbors would do like pizza night where he would make the pizza in like his oven.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
It's like
Italian.
the neighborhood, but the whole neighborhood was different. I had Koreans in the neighborhood. I had my neighbor was Cantonese and shit. Or
It reminds me of that Tom Segura bit when he's talking about at the park, and then he goes like, white people don't have that same type of we'll fight for you. Cause some guy.
Oh yeah.
He was like, he said the N-word, and then all these black folks popped out of the bushes to beat him up. And then he was like, white people just look at each other like, I don't know this guy.
Remember that video we all just saw of that brawl on the pier?
Yeah, Montgomery Raw.
Yeah, that's the same shit. It's like those black guys were getting beat up, or that black guy was getting beat up, and then those black guys came into his rescue, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just like, oh, we have a thing. We're buds. We're gonna help each other.
But then all the white people were from the same boat.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. There were no like stragglers that came in.
No other whites.
No, just same boat.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is interesting to see that. I do think it's cool that you guys have that, but like, yeah, I don't,
Yeah, there's definitely a built-in like thing.
Which weird to me because even the whole Asian alliance thing is a new thing. Like back in Asia,
like
it
all
doesn't
Asians.
Yeah, that's still new. Like in Asia, it doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like if in Asia,
Yeah.
like you don't jump in for another, or like you don't think of it that way. You think of yourself separately, like you're a whole entire different race. And then like
That's
when
an
you're
Asian
here-
American thing.
Yeah, it is.
I think
an
it
Asian
is.
thing,
I
yeah.
think it's very oddly Asian American or Asians in English speaking countries. It's probably the same thing where like maybe in
It's
10
a
generational.
It's a diaspora thing.
Yeah, when it's like several generations in and we have no connection to Asia anymore, I think it's gonna be the same way. Because we're gonna think more like independently rather than collectively.
But there is like, you guys can, like, for example, you guys do stereotypical stuff all the time, and you can do that, and people don't assume the worst. If I do if I say stereotype thing,
Yeah.
unironically, people will hate on me, right? Because I'm a white dude, and so it's like, I don't really care that much because stereotype stuff is kind of hack
It's
anyway.
true that everything you do is an assumed down punch,
Yeah, exactly.
which is a little bit like.
It's like, where'd this come from? Because like, I mean, it doesn't bother me because, like I said, most stereotype stuff is just hack anyway. So I could probably figure something else out. But it is kind of like, man, it does suck when like people are just joke bombing stuff, and then like they're just like, whoa, not you, buddy. Like
That's too far.
it's the same fucking bit.
Yeah.
Same bit.
That's true.
That's my favorite thing about Filipinos, honestly, is that I really believe there's a built-in thing in Filipinos that they just have a good sense of humor. That they're able to like
That's
take
true.
jokes, and they're really good at like bridging gaps. Like they're really good at assimilating with, connecting with other people. Like growing up, like Filipino people hung out with like everybody. They like, they were like the friends of like the black crowd, the hip hop crowd.
They're
like,
the neutral
just-
group.
Yeah, they're good at absorbing culture and just being like a good element of it. And that's my favorite thing is like if I meet a Filipino guy like anywhere in the world, I know what's gonna make us both laugh. Even if I don't speak the same language, there's always like a connected there's like something in the core. I don't know how that got that way, but there really is.
He's also gonna try to steal your girl too, though.
They're gonna make you laugh and steal your girl at the same time.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing is that I know that they're not gonna be like, but at least not maybe now generation. I think if you don't have that sense of humor, where you're just like a stickler and kind of with something up your ass, then I don't think you're doing Filipino correctly.
That's true.
You're not doing
I do
Filipino.
think that stereotype is real though. Like Filipinos are friendly.
I think so.
So friendly.
Yeah.
That is sad Filipino.
That's why I think like you're something's wrong with you, man. If you're just like not fun and everyone hates you.
You're a sad Filipino boy. Yeah. There's something wrong.
Yeah.
What was her name? Was in here saying that she would never date a Filipino guy.
Who? Jessie?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because she's had a bad run with I think some Filipino dudes.
And the Filipino dude's gonna leave you mid-marriage.
I mean, if it's based on experience, nothing you can really say about that. I mean, you are gonna have bad experiences, and that's gonna shape your opinion. But I think like as a default, Filipinos are pretty good at like fucking around, which is nice.
The thing that I love most about Chinese is also the thing I hate most about it.
What's that?
So I think. So what I like about Chinese that I think is pretty dope is how unapologetic they are. Oh. You know, it's like, what? I'm just copying. You know, like they're just it's just so like
What situation is that?
like it's just so
Alibaba.
yeah like, they're just so like so practical and like unemotional, so things are efficient and gets done.
Yeah, it's like I have a booger, so I'm gonna pick it.
Yeah. But then also like they'll pick it right, and you look at them like, what are you looking at, huh? And then they're like this, and then they're like, well, I guess they're the most liberated and free person I've ever met because they don't give a fuck about anything else.
Yeah.
But at the same time, because they don't give a fuck about anything else, they also don't give a fuck about anything around them. You know, so it kind of has like this thing where it's like, it feels like there's their culture. Everyone is just, it's like a car crash at a supermarket. So it works when it's with themselves, but it's hard to coexist with Chinese people, and it's hard to assimilate.
But they also don't have to give a fuck because they're like the most populous fucking ethnic group in the world. Yeah. So they don't have to coexist with the rest of the world. You know what I'm saying? So they don't need to learn those things. It's like, that's why they got their own fucking social media, their own fucking everything, their own governmental system, their own ecosystem. And they're like, nah, fuck the world. We're big enough. They can join us. And that's kind of like, kind of cool. Even though it's kind of whack.
It's funny because usually when you hear people being like racist, it's about other races. But every single time I hear Chinese people talking the most shit about Chinese people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Is there a correlation with like with that attitude and population density?
For sure. Think about like the pride of like ethnic groups that are like, or even like the Hmong people that we were talking about before, right? Yeah. So few of them, so they always have to have certain types of like pride,
right?
You know, in order to keep that their entire history and culture alive. Yeah. Or you even look at like Korean pride, the stereotype of Korean pride after everything they've been through, and being like, you know, through war and everything like that, or even the separation between the North and the South. It's like they have to have strong amounts of pride,
right?
You know what I mean, when they do something in the world that is like amazing. Yeah. You know, so it's kind of like, whereas like China, you got like 1.7 billion.
They're like, he could die. There's 1 million more.
Yeah, you don't have to care as much because you're literally like 20% of the world.
Yeah.
But there's also something built into like the culture, like, you know, like let's say if there's like a restaurant. If it's a Japanese restaurant and their rules are we have 4 tables here, they don't care that there's a 2-hour line outside. Yeah. I'm so sorry, there's only 4 tables, right? Right. Chinese are like, oh my God, you see how many customers out there, man? Holy shit. They'll like fucking, hey, okay, I serve you, you eat on top of this, and then you eat over here. You know, and like, oh, you're still hungry? Here, take some of that one. Like, it's just like, they don't give a fuck.
Right.
So at one point where it's like, that's why it's hard to trust Chinese people because the rules are all broken. Like, when did you draw this blueprint? Was it during the fucking copying era or what? So there's like one side, like it's hard to trace things back because you don't know how legit things are. But at the other side, the adaptability is crazy.
That's true.
Like how much they can just, fuck it, man, roll with the punches, you know?
Yeah.
Because remember when it was, when they were like, if you're not vaccinated, you can't go eat in a restaurant. It was like this in California, and San Francisco was really enforcing that shit. So when we were in San Francisco, I was like, oh fuck, like, where are we gonna go eat? And I was like, I got it, Chinatown.
Yep.
They're like, fucking man, we make the virus.
Like if there's a Japanese manuscript, I would trust it. I know there's honor. They're gonna make sure this is the way it's done.
Yeah, true.
If there's like a Chinese one, I'm like, man, they probably wrote out a convenience, or I don't know how many like embellishments there
Buddhist
are.
palm shit, don't worry.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But it's also tight.
It is.
That's why I hate it, but I also love it.
That's
you
a
know?
really good point. That's a very good point.
But do you all three identify as like Chinese though? Or do you see Chinese and go, I ain't Chinese?
Depends what you're looking at.
Yeah, it depends. I know I'm a very specific subsect of like Asian Chinese American, right? Like I'm
Pasadena American.
I'm definitely way more American than I am
Singapore.
Chinese. Yeah, dude, like, cause you know, growing up, like what you say, like my family would always be talking shit about Chinese people, and the whole time, like growing up, I was really actually confused. I was like, aren't we fucking Chinese? Like, what the fuck is going on? But yeah, no, it's very interesting, cause yeah, I don't know, I just feel like I am way more American than I am Chinese. At the end of the day,
You sound American.
man, fuck you, dude.
I've been to so many dinners with like my Chinese friends' families where their parents, half of the dinner is just them talking shit about Chinese people.
Yeah, that's dinner with my family.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I'm just like, dude, I remember one time we were eating at a Chinese restaurant and then there was like, you know, like sometimes you're just into your food and there's silence, right? And my friend's mom looks up and she goes, why are Chinese people so fucking ugly?
It's rough,
And
dude.
the funny thing is, it was like half of the tables were their relatives and friends. So she's just not only calling Chinese people ugly, she's calling her friends and family ugly.
Yeah.
And then we were just dying in tears laughing. And she's all like, fuck, dude, that's so funny. Yeah.
You know what?
Sounds like hanging with family, honestly.
Everywhere you go.
Like, in the best sense, they're like a virus. You know?
Chinese virus!
They could like go somewhere and then just fucking create like bacteria and just fucking, you know, and there's something convenient about that.
Create bacteria.
You know, like you think of like the entire 66 or like Chinatown, like from LA, and how much has gone all the way out to like fucking to like the Inland Empire now. Just how many Chinese people around.
They take over.
Yeah, they just take over a whole area, and the culture is so like you could point to a random Asian and be like, "Are you Chinese?" and like the percentage of you being correct
Yeah.
is pretty high, and there's
Good odds.
convenience to that too if you're a Chinese person. You know what I'm saying?
Unless you're Korean or Japanese and you get hella offended because you're like, how fucking dare you?
Which is one of my favorite things, the fact that I won't get offended if somebody's like Chinese. I'm like, cool.
Yeah. But if I said it,
Then you're
it's
punching
different.
down.
It's different.
It's fucked up.
You can't do that, Steve.
right?
You can't say it.
Chinese, huh?
Hey, dude, don't point at me, please.
Like
I
when
do love the
like
fact
when you got
that
called a Chinaman.
Chinese are everywhere because like since I grew up in a Chinese neighborhood, I miss Chinese food. So if I'm in Europe or any place and I'm just like, fuck man, I'm kind of homesick, I'll go to a Chinese restaurant and it's almost the same no matter where you are in the world. And it's kind of like you get to eat that and you're like, all right, cool. I'm reset.
Comforting,
you know?
man.
Yeah.
Affected the world.
But the way you put it is so.
The way you put it's way more eloquent.
It's like a fucking pandemic.
Hey, no, it's fine. I'm just sitting here laughing at it. That's
And you're the bad guy.
always fun.